Trump's tariff gamble backfires as China outmaneuvers the U.S. economy. When President Trump initiated his tariff standoff with Beijing, he was convinced he held the upper hand. His logic was simple. China's economy, he argued, was heavily dependent on American consumers. By imposing tariffs, he believed China would be forced to compromise or face economic turmoil. But here's where it gets controversial. Beijing didn't crumble under pressure. Instead, it pivoted, dramatically shifting its focus to the rest of the world and proving that its economic resilience might be far greater than Trump anticipated. In April, Trump boldly declared on Truth Social, his own social media platform, that China had been hit much harder than the USA, not even close. He later admitted that while American consumers might reduce their purchases of Chinese goods, his tariffs were causing tremendous difficulty for China's factories. And this is the part most people miss. 6 months later, China's exports aren't just surviving, they're thriving, thanks to a strategic diversification away from the U.S. market. Data from the General Administration of Customs reveals a striking trend. While China's shipments to the U.S. plummeted by 27% in September, marking the 6th consecutive month of double-digit declines, its exports to other regions soared. For instance, exports to the European Union, despite facing a 15% tariff from the White House, grew significantly, contributing to a 14.8% increase in non-U.S. exports. This shift has been so effective that China's overall exports in September were up 8.3% year-over-year, totaling a staggering $328.6 billion, the highest for 2025 so far. This resilience has caught many off guard. Back in April, the World Bank predicted China's economy would grow by 4% in 2025. However, just last week, it revised this forecast upward to 4.8%. Citing stronger than expected performance. In contrast, the U.S. economy hasn't fared as well. In June, the World Bank slashed its 2025 U.S. growth forecast by 0.9 percentage points to a modest 1.4%. Against this backdrop, Trump's recent threat to impose 100% tariffs on Chinese goods feels less like a knockout punch and more like a last-ditch effort. Beijing's response was swift and defiant. A spokesman for the Ministry of Commerce labeled the threat a double standard, stating, "China's position on a tariff war is consistent. We do not want one, but we are not afraid of one." Bold question for our readers. Is Trump's tariff strategy still viable, or has China's economic agility rendered it obsolete? Share your thoughts in the comments. Despite the heated rhetoric, there's room for compromise. Trump, perhaps recognizing the shifting dynamics, struck a more conciliatory tone recently, telling reporters, "I think we're going to be fine with China." He praised President Xi as a very tough man, a very smart man, and expressed optimism about resolving the dispute. This shift sent futures climbing, suggesting markets are betting on a deal. Analysts like Deutsche Bank's Jim Reed believe the back and forth is largely theatrical. There's still plenty of time for negotiations, he wrote, adding that the market will likely price in a reasonable probability of a deal once the initial shock fades. UBS's Paul Donovan echoed this sentiment, noting that both Trump and Vice President Vance have made conciliatory remarks, hinting at a potential retreat from the original threat. Interestingly, Donovan also pointed out an anomaly in trade data. China appears to be selling more to the U.S. than the U.S. is buying from China. This suggests China may be rerouting exports to help U.S. importers avoid tariffs, a clever workaround that underscores Beijing's adaptability. As the Fortune Global Forum convenes in Riyadh on October 26 to 27, 2025, global leaders will undoubtedly discuss these economic power plays. The question remains, can Trump and Xi find common ground, or will this trade war escalate further? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.